Welcome to Silver Bar Stacker, folks, and I hope you had a great weekend. It's been a busy one for SBS, that's for sure. As you know, we've been going through a rough time with eBay with regards to the restrictions they place on our account, and in fact, on Friday morning, shortly after I uploaded that video, they had given us an update, and they had told us, guess what? We need all of your information. It was basically a KYC, know your customer request here. And so now they're asking for personal identification, all of the business information. They want to make sure all of the, the business address matches up with, any statements and stuff that is mailed, any of the items that we ship. They want to verify. They want to know all of our supplier information, and they want all the receipts for any of the items that we've sold, which is hundreds of items. And so this is not a small request, but not an impossible request. And so it's been an extremely busy weekend as we've been gathering all of these documents, which we do have. I just finally finished going through all the receipts for all the items that we've sold. And as you know, there's been hundreds of items that have sold, and that goes everything down to tiny little grams of silver. And so everything that we've sold needed to be accounted for. And so literally I just went through and I've gotten over 50 receipts of items that we've purchased over the past several months, and gosh, it's amounted to over $250,000 in purchases. So that's a very invasive request from them, but I'm thankful that the silver lining, the silver lining is that at least this request came forward now rather than 2 months from now when we had triple or 10 times the amount of products on the store. So anyways, it's been a very, very busy weekend of gathering those documents and continuing to work on that, and hopefully get a response to them on Monday to then hopefully expedite that, but we'll see. We're at the mercy of their review team at this point once we get those docs in. So anyways, let's go ahead and break into some of these packages. I have been expecting a few different things, and so we'll go ahead and see what we got here. Alright, so we got one little item there. I think I know what that is. Let's see what we got here. Thanks to my trading partner for the new knife, so I don't have to use this janky Milwaukee box cutter. This thing is pretty cool, actually. So you remember how we had those Engelhard dental spacing discs? And JK Pioneer was nice enough to have already known this fact, I think, and told us that these dental spacing, these discs were basically used for precious metals and things like that in the dental industry. So they would use them for kind of refining those metals a little bit further. And so I was able to get my hands on yet a third unique piece. So this is my fourth box, actually, I would say, of separating discs by Engelhard, but it's the fourth one, but it's the third unique type. And so I guess I really should show you the other types again. And so if you recall, we had other separating discs. So we had this box improved separating discs, and then we also have this big set. I guess this is for the hardcore dentists that need all the sizes. Okay, so this is the second type of box that I've seen. for these spacing discs, and this finally is the third. And this is a unsealed, so I can actually open this up. And there you go. That's a full box right there of spacing discs. So that to me is very, very cool, and I'm very, very excited about that. 3 different kinds of spacing disc boxes. Very cool. All right, let's see what else we got here. Haven't even seen what's in the others, but let's get these all pre-opened first. Wow, have you ever seen anything like this? Look at the filler here. It's like I don't know, very messy though. Almost seems like a joke. This is messy. Yeah, inside that. What is that? It was like they put dust in there or something. Super weird. Why would they do that? It says, "Hi, thank you, and stay safe." It's an Engelhard, Australia modern poured bar. So that's actually what you're looking at right here. This is a 2-ounce Engelhard, Australia modern poured bar. And once again, not a serialized one, but this is arguably one of my favorite bars to hold. It's a little cast poured bar. It's a modern poured bar produced sometime between 2015 and 2016 from my understanding. It's not a vintage bar, right? They don't produce them anymore though, so I guess technically you could call them, but it's not like an original vintage Engelhard bar, right? This says a little bit of a different history. It's got a little bit of drama behind it, and quite frankly, I've started to slow down on collecting these 2-ounces without the serial number, because I have quite a few of these actually, and all of the ones that I have do not contain a serial number. And so while this is arguably my favorite piece to hold in my hand, like this is just something I would just always like to walk around with, I'm starting to understand that there's many people who sell these, and they're always sold on eBay, always by very high rated sellers, but not with a lot of reviews. And so I've started accumulating quite a few of these, and I'm starting to piece together a few pieces of information here. First of all Engelhard is not supportive of these bars, and so you don't see these bars represented there because they're, like I said, not a vintage bar. They were something produced by an Engelhard offshoot, right? One of the members of Engelhard kind of went out and produced a run of these bars, and so they weren't produced in the same style as a true Engelhard Australia bar, nor do they look anything like that, and so you wouldn't really mistake the two. You know what an Engelhard Australia modern pour bar looks like. There's 3 types. There's the 2-ounce, the 5-ounce, the 10-ounce, and the 2-ounce comes serialized and unserialized, and the 5-ounce and 10-ounce always come serialized. So that's what your modern pour bars are. Sometimes you can get them in the original box. Okay, so that's number one. What I've stopped slowing down on these unserialized 2-ounce bars is because I don't have a way to authenticate them as much, right? I can test the silver purity, I can compare them to the many others that I have to make sure there's no inconsistencies. However, Savage Stacker always says that one thing he's always looking for is that serialized number and vintage, because that way undoubtedly, there's no question in your mind, personally, that there's some level of additional layer of authenticity, right? So I feel much more comfortable. I feel comfortable with all of them because they've all been purchased through reputable sources. But if you go and now all of a sudden buy a 2-ounce unserialized bar from somebody who has no reputation whatsoever, in fact they have a bad reputation, well, now you have to do some additional research there, and you have to really vet that properly. And in fact, there'll always be a question in your mind, right? And so the lack of a serial number on some of these 2-ounce bars is what has made me slightly slow down and be really conscious about the price that I'm paying for them. But if there's a serial number, I have a little bit more assurance. And so for me, that serial number is very important. Now, another thing I was thinking about is how people who are into just stacking generally, who are into kind of poured bars, there's been kind of increase in popularity of poured cast bars, which is what these are. And a lot of people have said that they don't mind that because they think cast bars are beautiful. I agree. I think cast bars are beautiful. I love a poured cast bar. They've also said that these may be gaining popularity not just because people like them, but because they are very low cost to produce. They're very easy to produce a poured cast bar and very cheap to produce them, from my understanding, from what I've heard. And so, guess what? All Engelhard Modern Australia poured bars are all cast bars. So that's the thing. Like, they're quite nice. Like, the 2 ounces are my favorite of the 3 because they're so nice to hold. But you always have to keep in mind, right? You always have to understand what is a modern collectible, what is a vintage collectible, what is a non-collectible, what is a government-issued collectible, what is straight generic bulk bullion, what is generic fractional bullion, what is collectible vintage fractional bullion. There's so many different varieties. I haven't even gotten into 90% in non-pure bullion. So you understand what I'm saying? There's very, very many things to consider. And there's a price to pay for everything as well, right? If you're gonna go find a serialized item, expect to pay a premium for that serialization. Okay, we got one more box here to open, and then we'll crack into these 2 as well and see what we got going there. Oh, this is a nice pickup right here. It's a nice set of Liberty bars. And so I'm a big fan of Liberty bars, especially the vintage ones. And so I managed to pick up 2 Engelhard vintage Liberty bars, and these both come with the original assay card. So these 2 are Liberty bars, Liberty trade bars with the original assay certificate. This one is nice and toned up, ultra toner. So that's quite nice. And so your serial number on these, actually, the first one, the serial number is 07878. That's a nice number, 7878. And my other one is 041272. Holy cow! Interesting. So one of them is 041272, and the other is 0 blank. There's like a space in 7878. Very interesting. 7878. So it doesn't actually give the serial number on the assay certificate. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. And this one is a JM Liberty trade bar. So if you want to take a look at the difference here, here's the difference. If you can even tell what the difference is. Very minimal differences, but you can see them, right? You see there on this is the JM bar here. A little bit of a thicker arms. I guess the Liberty on the left, the JM Liberty, has been working out a little bit more. She's a little bit more buff. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and see what we got here. This seems like familiar. Ah, yes. We got another couple Engelhard Australia 2-ounce bars. Modern. And so what's really cool about these 2-ounce bars, and this is why I've kind of made the decision to start kind of slowing my roll on collecting the unserialized 2-ounce bars, is because I finally managed to get my hands on a serialized set of 2-ounce bars. I've been waiting eagerly and patiently to pick this up. And so this right here is 2-ounce bars, but then we've got the serial number on these ones. And the nice thing about these serials is that I've got a sequential. So 00399 and 004 400. So that's pretty cool. I'm really excited to finally have that, at least, because now I have at least both types. Now over here it looks like got a couple. Oh yes, so this is by far the rarest normal 1 ounce ingot that I'm aware of. I have definitely the fewest of these. There is also a flat, like a flat A-Mark bar, not the A-Mark Precious Metals bar, but it's like a USVI bar with a 1 on it, and it's like a normal flat bar, like those very common A-Mark flat bars. I don't have one of those, so that's like the only USVI bar that I'm missing, and that's actually the very first one. This is a USVI 1. So I have all the others. And so this is the next hardest to find, I would say, for sure. At least for me, it's the next hardest to find, and I only had one of these to begin with, and I paid a hefty premium for it. But I managed to find somebody who had a couple more, and so now I feel very happy and very fortunate, because now I have 3 of these, and so that to me I feel very comfortable having duplicates. This is just by far one of the coolest USVI stackers that I'm aware of. So on the back it says A172S. Okay, so 1 ounce Troy, 31.1 grams, pure silver assay, A172S, USVI Ingot Company, 1981. So this is a 1981 ingot. A172S, 1981. Same exact bar. Cool, right? Well, hope you enjoyed today's pickups, and I hope to have an update on the eBay situation soon. Cheers!
Ow.